Welcome to another episode of the Bourbon Experience. We're doing episode number 24, and we're back to the bourbon tournament. Just to kind of do a quick recap, what we're doing here is we've gone through all these different bourbons here, trying them out. We do 3 at a time, except last week we did 4. And we're doing 3 at a time. The winner of each one of those, then we put in a tournament, and then it's not a blind. I mean, it'll still be a blind. Well,
it'll still be a blind. There'll still be a double blind.
Yeah.
As we get further, it'll become less
double blindish.
Well, yeah, it'll venture into the. As we move along, it'll get more into the single blindish category.
Yeah, it will. Yeah, that makes sense. But as you can, I don't know if you can tell, but we're about halfway done with this first round. So, that's the game plan. We're gonna do 3 more again today, and then we'll go from there. So. We've had some pretty knockout bourbon so far.
Yeah, we do.
We just haven't had that many ryes.
No, there are still, I think, 4 or 5 ryes left in the pool.
Oh, jeez.
There's 1 wheater left, and there's 2 Irishes that we haven't even touched.
Which those Irishes are going to be. Forget about it. I'm not an Irish guy, but
yeah, well,
those Irishes they're good.
I'm looking forward to one of them.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, all right. So what we're going to do is we're going to randomize it and see what we get.
11, 10, 32.
I'll do hand me your first glass there, and I'll do the first one.
And your 2?
Yep. Oh, yeah, that would be.
Yeah. Unless you don't want.
No. I'd like to have some.
Yes, have some, please.
Yes, have some.
Number 1?
Yep.
Yeah. This is what I was when I poured it, I was like, that's got a nice aroma to it. It's holding on okay. Yeah. Those legs. Yes. Those legs are holding on.
At some point, you just ought to put like a little clip of the ZZ Top chorus. So a little light on the open. It hits you right away with a light brown sugar, but fades very quickly.
It does.
Before
it does go
to the mid palate.
I was thinking butterscotch, but that's and then it fades away to a oak, oak right away, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. And that initial one doesn't hit you right away.
But it's not in the finish. It's a flash in the pan.
Yeah.
It doesn't stick around a lot.
But it's got a nice, good aroma to it.
No, it's got a good flavor. Wish it held on.
Yeah. Wish it
the
did.
Oakiness is nice. It doesn't stick around. It doesn't overpower and become bitter. It's not a bad one.
No.
But it lacked on the finish.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. Well, let's go with number 2 here. Good nose.
I'm getting less on the nose with this. There's more to it than the last one. It sticks around a little longer.
A little bit of baking spices or cinnamon right at the very intro.
Yeah, kind of like a candied baking spice type of thing. It's not full-on baking spice thing. There's a sweet kind of candied element with it too.
Yeah, that's definitely deeper. I think it's a fuller bourbon than the first one. There's more to it, like you said. There's definitely more to it.
Yeah, the viscosity is a little higher.
You think so?
A little bit.
I mean, we're going to go back through and it might change, but I'd say right now, 2's ahead of 1 overall.
Yeah, just in terms of being the finish and how long it lasts. It's so far leading the pack.
All right, let's go for the number 3. Don't smoke crack.
Listen to your father. Crack is whack.
Crack is whack. All right, Whitney Houston.
Identical.
I know you don't have it, but this is kind of, again, one of those larceny type aromas where it's kind of dusty.
Okay.
Larceny small batch, I should say.
Yeah, I can see that dusty. That's really coming through. This is actually one of the first ones where I've been able to really kind of catch that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There's some pretty dull at the beginning, and then at the end I get like a little bit some sort of spices. Not a whole lot though.
Yeah, it's very light. There really isn't much to it.
No,
it's
something on the back end there, but yeah, there's not a whole lot.
There's not a whole lot of the caramel toffee kind of thing to it.
Baking spices at the very end, some sort of because it's got that.
So I mean, what's left really is just kind of here's some oak water.
Everything on them with water, whole lot of water.
I mean, right now number 2's in the lead, but we're gonna go back around. But I'd say number 2's in the lead right now. Ooh, go to the aroma after that one. Ooh, that's not bad. It's so interesting when you go through it and you're the first time and you're like, oh yeah, okay, and then you go back around, you're like, whoa, where did that come from?
Out of the 3 of these, 2's the complete package in comparison. Honestly,
well, I got some cherry in there.
By far.
Did you get there? All of a sudden, I got like a quick. Right there, like the middle towards the end, there was like some sort of. All of a sudden, I'm like, "Whoa! What was that?" Yeah, and it's not like you made a good comment last week about you get some cherry and how it could be really overpowering, and it could really
the medicinal,
the very medicinal. And I did not get anything like that. It was like I just had like a cherry Pop-Tart or something. I'm still getting a cherry aftertaste.
Yeah, okay. Now that I'm letting this kind of sit on my tongue a little bit, there's something there. There's a bit more depth with it that I'm getting.
Yeah. It's nice.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to give one another go before we. I think I know where. See, I'm telling you that this is another one that we're going back through. That aroma is really nice.
Yeah, and that taste disappoints.
That's the interesting thing is like we go from it and you smell it and you're like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be wonderful. And you're right, like the first time we were like, yeah,
it just disappears.
Yeah.
So now I got to go back to this one.
Yeah,
in
I
an
think you're right.
comparison.
Yeah. So for me, it's 2, 1, 3.
I mean, I'm actually going to put 3 ahead of 1.
Are you?
From the point of view of the drop off between the aroma to the flavor is so disappointing that at least with this there's a consistency from the aroma into the flavor profile.
That's fair.
That I'm getting. This one it's disconnected.
We both pick 2 as our. And then we're going to go separate. I'm going to stick with number 1 is my number 2, and number 3 is my 3. So, all right. Well, let's do number 11 first. This is this was
my last.
Your last place and my second place. Yeah. Did we mess up? Oh my gosh, I hate it when you do this.
Wow. Sazerac Rye.
Really?
Wow. Yeah, I need to go back to this.
That's the aroma coming from Sazerac
is good.
That makes a ton of sense now, because a lot of that Buffalo Trace stuff just really has just wonderful.
But how are we not grabbing the flavors out of that?
And this is number 3. So how about
number 3?
Number 3.
Wild Turkey 101 Rye.
Oh. I took Sazerac over Wild Turkey 101.
Shows what you know.
Obviously, I'm not a rye guy, but
still, I mean, this is interesting because this one, when we did the rye tasting over at Dad's, this was number 1.
Okay, so we've had 2 ryes.
We knew that was going to happen.
It doesn't shock me that you picked the Wild Turkey 101, but it's interesting how we both did not get a lot out of it.
Yeah, I mean, now I'm drinking this and I'm picking up.
Oh, really?
I'm picking up the Wild Turkey 101 stuff.
Still dusty.
It's good. Now, I mean, and that's what's interesting about this. Like when you're keyed into what it is, all of a sudden
it changes.
Everything starts working.
The nice thing about blinds is it does. I think it does a couple things. It opens up your eyes to maybe something you might not have had. I think that's a fair.
Mm-hmm.
And then two, it also I think it levels a playing field, which we've talked about. It levels a playing field and then opens up your eyes that maybe you might have something that you might not be very okay. I like the Weller Special Reserve.
Yeah.
I had Weller Special Reserve last night, and it was wonderful. And there's some times where I have it and I don't think it's that good. But when we did it on the blind, it was knockout. I mean, it was wonderful.
But with blind, you can get to see the label.
Right.
And knowing that it's green.
And I think there's value to that going, okay, it's testing our...
Your father's out of control.
I think it is helping us test our palate.
Oh, that's
Big time.
Yeah, that's a 14.
Okay.
Totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Antique.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
How about that?
I was about
So-
to say, if we got to antique and it didn't
Oh.
I mean,
Antique is, again, I've said this before, it's probably one of my...
I guess knows it.
Well, I told you, when we came back through,
No, now when you got it again, now that we know.
yeah, like, so, So when we came back through and I'm like, oh, man, well, and that's the Weller Antique 107. So it's still one of my favorites. It still didn't pop like I think it should have for me.
It's so delicious.
It's such a good bourbon, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not making it through Sazerac Rye or Wild Turkey 101 Rye. Making it through, which makes a ton of sense, is Antique 107.
Good label.
You need to see a therapist.
Another, I think, great little tasting there. So there you go. If you have had Weller Antique 107 and it's one of your favorites, make a comment about it. If you haven't, man, gotta find a bottle. Don't go into the secondary market. The secondary market's a bit pricey in that area.
Yeah.
But if you can find it for...
What if they've had it and it's not one of their favorite bottles? You just basically said don't make a comment.
Because I don't want them to comment, because then they're wrong.
Well,
That's not true. We joke
if you
about
clicked unsubscribe, please click it again.
Thanks again for joining us. Appreciate it.
We're all bourbon them.
We're all bourbon. Have a good night.